What's up? It's your boy, Fraser, Leptokinetic Healer, and today I'm going to be talking about why I don't use Reiki symbols. Now, I just want to also add in here, this is no shade on Reiki symbols. I think that honestly they play a really important role in a lot of people's development in regards to how they're able to send energy and things of that nature. Oh, and they're not evil or anything like that either. So like when most people are receiving some type of formal education in Reiki, when I went to medical Reiki, my medical Reiki training, symbols were a very important part of kind of the process of turning on the energy, giving the energy different flavors or different functions, that kind of thing. Now for me, what happened was I just became spoiled because I'm able to get people to move, and so I kind of outgrew them. But what happened to me was I would go to draw a symbol on someone and their body would react before I could finish drawing the symbol. Now I remember my teacher used to always say, there will come a point where you can just think about the symbol, or the intent of the symbol will be enough. You won't have to draw it anymore. So while I'm getting these people to have somatic releases before I can finish drawing the symbol, it really showed me in real time, all you need is your intent. So if all I needed was my intent, does that just mean anything I intend to send to that person will create an effect, or that will be the type of energy that's coming out of me? And so then I started using my own symbols, and it would cause people to react. So I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. This realization really kind of opened up a whole new world of what's possible in this field, because from going from using Reiki symbols then to my own symbols, I started to use a lot more visualization and a lot more other kinds of techniques in regards to creating a psychic force. Now, most of this stuff was intuited and also just through observation, cause and effect. Testing something out, seeing what would happen when I worked with that type of thought or that type of symbol. There are times where I really feel like, I don't know if there was some past life stuff, or I don't even know what to call it, but to be honest, I feel like I have some type of information that I was able to carry over, and I, over time, started accessing it, and it just seemed like it was different styles of energy healing, or, very specific techniques that I almost just remembered through the process or the action of actually doing it. I remember very specifically, I had an experience where I was working on an individual, and I was kind of in a very just deep state of relaxation, deeper state of consciousness, and it's really interesting because to receive psychic information, it's not something you can force. It really is something you surrender to, or rather allow. Now, I wasn't really trying to do anything specific other than hold space for that individual. And while I kind of fell into that in-between space of resting and waking consciousness, it was as if I received a download, like literal someone plugged something into my brain, and I had not just information going through, but almost like a holographic projection, like a simulation. Like I was being run through a simulation, and I was just watching this kind of geometry form and this like take the shape of a sphere, and it just started firing lasers out of it. And I was like, I came back to realizing what I had just like observed, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And so something nudged me to like, hey, try that on the person you're working on. And I just visualized this sphere and this laser firing out of it and into the individual, and they just started having crazy, somatic releases manifesting as therapeutic tremors, neurogenic tremors, and it manifested as really strong convulsions from that individual. And I was just like, how is this real? Like how is this real? And I only continued to develop it. It went from visualizations to just direct commands, kind of like whatever I'm thinking about or intending to work with is what's coming out. It led me to be able to work specifically with certain ranges in hertz or frequency, and work with specific emotions or send specific emotions to people. I mean, of course, this isn't quantifiable, but I've noticed that working with different, intentions have caused reactions in people repeatedly. And if you know anything about patterns, that means that there's some type of universal truth that can be found in there. So all in all, the most important part of this whole experience for me was the symbols almost acted as like a mechanism to, it's like a key in an engine. You know what I mean? You need something to activate the motor, or the energy we're projecting out. And symbols work really well because they transcend kind of words and can represent more things like ideas or things that can't really be spoken. It can trigger the subconscious to do things. A lot of the kind of psychic impressions also work in symbology, so there's always a very potent medicine in symbolism. But what it did for me was it allowed me to develop confidence in myself, so much so that I didn't need those symbols to turn the key to get the engine going, so to speak. Now when I send energy to people, it's almost just like moving my arm or blinking my eyes. It's become that integrated into my body that it just goes. I don't, there's nothing to force. It's again, a lot of these things are like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. So really, it is just like moving another part of my body, just commanding it with my mind, like anything else. Anyways, that's why I don't really use Reiki symbols anymore. They're just not necessary. And I don't want to say that they're limiting, because they certainly serve their purpose, but there's so much more that you can work with. Like, I'm always telling people that I work with and my students that your imagination is your only limitation, and to retain that childlike innocence throughout this process is really where the magic happens. And as always, it is such a pleasure to be here with you all and to be heard and to share some of these stories with y'all. Again, if you're liking some of this content, please like and subscribe. It really helps. It really makes a huge difference. The channel is starting to make some movement, and y'all already know the movement is the progress. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all on the other side.